Hey everybody, Sean here from Somm Wine Club, and I have got Somm wine for you. This is the 2022 Domaine Vendange Madame de M Roussette de Savoie. This is a white wine from the Savoie region of eastern France, made from the grape variety Altesse. Now, why is it called Roussette de Savoie if it's made from Altesse? Roussette is just a synonym, a local synonym for the grape variety named that, which means reddish in French because of the kind of red speckled color that appears on the grapes when they are fully ripe and ready to be harvested. But you can use both. You can use Altesse, you can use Roussette. It's the same grape variety. Domaine Vendange is a relatively new estate. It was only founded in 2015, but the Vendange family has been farming grapes in the Comte de Savoie in eastern France for generations. They own the largest nursery in the region, and it was only in 2015 when son Benjamin Vendange and his partner Diane Gonel returned to Savoie from working other parts in France. Diane's from the Languedoc-Roussillon. She's a trained enologist. Benjamin was working in Beaune in Burgundy and then decided to go back to Savoie to start a domain, start an estate of their own. They are farming everything organically. They have 10 hectares of estate vineyards that they use for their production, and the vines that go into the Madame de M are around 20-year-old Altesse vines planted in the foothills of the Massif de Beaune. So this is in the southern part of Savoie, but you're very close to the Alps. This is the mountainous region of eastern France. So very, very close to Mont Blanc and the Matterhorn, and only about 70 kilometers south of Lake Geneva. So we are truly alpine France here. This is done all in stainless steel and neutral oak. No new oak used here. They want that alpine, zesty, bright characteristic of the wine to come through. But Altesse is not necessarily a light-bodied white variety. It has definitely some density, some richness, some roundness to it. It's, for me, a little bit like Pinot Blanc, if that's a more familiar style of wine for you. It has this kind of slightly pomaceous character to it, but a whole lot of other secondary characteristics, which we'll talk about. So, yeah, apple blossom, pear skin, wildflowers. It has like a grassy, not Sauvignon Blanc grassy, but like almost like hay, kind of dried grass character to it. White tea, tea leaves, that kind of thing. It's really pretty. It's really characterful. It's not like a lot of other white wines that you probably will have smelled, the kind of different aromatic characters that are jumping out of the glass at you are really unique to wines of this area. This wine has so much texture. It almost has a little bit of tannin. Even though there's no real skin contact here, the grape variety just has a lot of phenolic characteristic, a lot of extract, a lot of stuff in the wine that lingers on your palate and gives you this perception of subtle bitterness and tannin. Super refreshing to drink, but not overly tart. The acidity is quite soft, even if it's quite pronounced. Like you have Riesling acidity and it, like it's sharp and it hurts your teeth. This isn't that. This has a creaminess and a softness to it that I think is coming a little bit from partial malolactic, so they're allowing this wine to get a little bit rounder on the palate. There's so much mineral character. It's like rock box, like a mortar and pestle, like grinding up tea leaves and citrus peel, lemongrass. This is a fantastic wine from a young winemaker and a like relatively young winery in also a relatively young region with young soils. Up until 15,000 years ago or so, the Savoie was covered in glacier. So these are really old, really young soils that were only recently, well, 15,000 years recently. But compare that to millions of years old soils in other parts of the world. These are young. It's so pretty. It has this like draw to you. Like you take a sip, you finish it. I can still taste it in my mouth, and I'm like, I want more. Give me another sip. It's always a good sign when I'm finishing my glass before I'm done talking about the wine. That's I'm sure that everyone's really going to enjoy this, but I want to talk about the reason that I put this wine in the box in the first place, which is and kind of backwards from the way that I usually do things. I had a specific dish in mind, a specific food, and I was like, okay, I need to find a wine that will work with that because I really want people to go and try that. And that's raclette. If you've never had raclette, it is a basically cheese that you melt the outer layer of and then scrape off, and you can put it on potatoes or smoked meats or crusty bread, and you usually have like pickles on the plate with it. It's just this rich, you get that caramelization of the outer layers, those bubbles of like slightly burnt or crispy cheese, and Alpine whites from the Savoie and from Switzerland work incredibly well with raclette. It's one of these like magic, like ethereal pairings that kind of changes the way that you think about how wine and food can interact with each other. There is something in these wines and that dish that just works. It just meshes so well, and I want everyone to try it. So I'm like, I want everybody to try raclette, so I'm gonna find a wine from the Savoie. So I did, and this is it. And I'm really excited to have, like I said, a young, forward-thinking producer with great principles that's making incredible wine and in also represents this region so well, because this is the characteristic of Savoie that you're looking for in wine, that kind of mountain wildflowers, stony mineral character, juicy fruit with fresh acidity and vibrancy. So go get some raclette. You can rent the setups. It comes with like a stand, and you'll get a chunk of raclette, and you can like burn the top of it, torch it so that it melts, and then scrape it off. Or you can just get slices of raclette and like put them on a flat top to like melt the bottom, and then go and scrape it on top. Doesn't really matter what you do. If you want to do fondue, you can do fondue. It's not quite the same idea, but it is going to have a similar approach to the way that these things work together. I just was really, maybe it was me, I was craving raclette, and I was like, I want everyone else to have raclette too. So there you go. You have a Roussette de Savoie made from Altesse from the Comte de Savoie in eastern France, made by Domaine Vendange. Delicious, incredible Alpine French white that I am excited to be able to share with everybody, and I hope that everybody enjoys. So thank you very much, as always, for watching. We'll see you guys next time.